Welcome into Behind the Badgers on location. Our first time doing it on location. If you're not familiar with Behind the Badgers, normally we're a podcast. I'm Patrick Herb, this is Brian Mason, and we do just an audio podcast once a week, and we try to have some of the biggest guests in Wisconsin sports. Barry Alvarez, Jonathan Taylor, Chris Orr during the football season. Today we have Barry Alvarez right here next to us for our first live video show, I guess this is. But we are on location. We are in the team hotel here in Indianapolis, getting ready for the Big Ten Championship game where Wisconsin will play Ohio State tomorrow. And I'm excited about this game. I'm happy to be here. We've been here a lot.
This never gets old. 6 times we've been in this town for this game, and it never gets old.
And Big Ten tournaments for basketball.
Right.
The Final
Four.
Four was, the hotel we stayed at for the Final Four was just down the street.
Yeah.
And the pandemonium that happened after we beat Kentucky in that one.
There's some memories of some good wins in the Big Ten Championship game right here in this hotel. I mean,
so you guys have, the team has stayed in this hotel 2 other times for this game?
At least two.
And one in this building.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
so let's try to repeat that history a little bit.
We got that on our side. But in terms of football, this is a big game.
It's a huge game.
The fact that Wisconsin got into the top 10 in the rankings makes it one of the most attractive championship games in college football.
Right. It already had playoff implications. Ohio State's the number 1 team in the country, right? Wisconsin moves into the top 10 all the way up to number 8 in the CFP rankings this week. Now this game has huge bowl implications. I mean, it already would have, but has some huge bowl implications for the Badgers, and you'll hear from Barry Alvarez in a minute on what those implications look like. But this is the 6th time Wisconsin's been here. It's easy for us and for people to kind of take for granted what this is, but I mean, it's a chance to play for a championship. And it's the 3rd time this team has faced Ohio State in this game, in this building, in Lucas Oil Stadium. And it's a very good Ohio State team. We know that. We've seen them up close in Columbus, a 38-7 win for the Buckeyes. But my takeaway from this week leading up to the game and today, when the team got its first look at the stadium for a practice today, was there's a lot of confidence in this group. That loss has not tagged them in any way that they think they can't win this game.
Yeah, and probably the fact that they had their backs against their wall after that game, that they had to go win 4 straight games in November, difficult games, going on the road to Minnesota, that was the biggest game Minnesota, let's say it, that they've ever had.
Yeah.
And Wisconsin goes there and steals the axe from them.
That's right.
Or earns the axe, let's say.
We've talked a lot in our podcast about the gauntlet that Wisconsin was going to have to run. And I really think that win over Iowa and that goal line stand at the end to stop that 2-point conversion, think back now to how that sparked this team and the run.
What if that goes the other way?
Exactly, and the run that this team has been on over the last month to get back to Indianapolis when it entered the month of November in a 2-game deficit in its own division.
So the team is they're a heavy underdog in this game, and they know it. They lost by 31 the last time they played them. But have they been talking about? I don't hear anybody internally talking about that they don't care, that doesn't matter. But I feel like they have an appreciation for being in this game.
No doubt. And Zach Bond, I thought this week, it was really cool. I stumbled upon him up in the football office earlier this week, and he's got a little notebook, and he's writing out numbers. And I said, Zach, what are you doing? And he said, I'm trying to figure out how many teams and players start the college football season and how few of them get to the point that we've reached and the chance to play for a championship. And he figured out there's about 42,000 players in college football, and more than 40,000 of those are sitting at home this weekend while the Badgers get to be in Indianapolis playing for a championship.
That's good. That's good perspective, and I think it's cool. It says a lot about him as a leader.
Yeah, because he shared that message with the team earlier this week. That was something he wanted to impart to the team, that, guys, this is a unique opportunity we have. Don't take for granted that we're here just because this program has been here in the past. We need to make the most of this moment.
Yeah, but you couldn't fault them if they did take it for granted, because most of the team has been here before. They played here in 2017
against this team in Ohio State.
So so the team got here at 1:00 today and went immediately over to Lucas Oil Stadium for a practice, their typical Friday practice, and
a jog through, as we like to call it.
Okay, sure. And the guys got their chance to do the oohs and ahs and see the building, because it's an impressive NFL stadium. But a lot of the guys, I talked to Jack Cohn afterwards, and I said, let's bring back some memories. Like, yeah, actually, the second I walked in here, all the memories came rushing back from 2 years ago. I feel like that's a good thing, that they've got that experience in there. Now, Ohio State does too.
Right. But the stage in the moment won't factor in, right? Like, that won't be, I don't think that's a concern for Wisconsin, that you're going to be in awe of where you're at. They know where they're at. They've been there before. And all you have to do is look down.
They've played in big games.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about last week. The biggest game of the year to that point is in Minneapolis.
I think it's a big reason they beat the Gophers, that Wisconsin's used to that big game, and Minnesota hasn't had many of those.
Right. So you hope that factors in and is something that can help Wisconsin in what's going to be a very difficult game against a very good opponent.
I think you were going to mention it. You look down at one end zone.
Yeah.
There's banners hanging from each of the years.
There's no secret about what you're playing for. They've got in the end zone a banner for each year, and there's 2 W's above 2 of the pictures of those championship trophies. So you know what this program's accomplished in this game in the past.
And then there's a lot of guys who look at those other banners that don't have W's, where they know Wisconsin played in them, and said, that one sticks in my craw, that one sticks in my craw.
Those could have been ours.
Yeah.
Right.
So hanging another one with another W and becoming a 3-time champion is what they're here for. And they're going into the game thinking they can win it. I don't know whatever outside people think and whatever underdog status they have. They're going and thinking it. But they got a chance today to walk through the arena. They got a little bit of what the attention is going to be like, because the Big Ten Network's there with a set on the field. They're doing a live show.
The Fox crew, some of the guys got a chance to chat with, Gus Johnson and Joel Klatt. And Gus was in full effect. Jenny Taft, it was a chance to meet up with those people again and talk it out. And yeah, it felt like the day before a big game.
And we wanted to hear from one of those guys, so our own Chris Hall caught up with Joel Klatt at practice earlier today to get his take on tomorrow's game.
Patrick, Brian, thank you. Here inside Lucas Oil Stadium with Joel Klatt, who will call the game with Gus Johnson on Fox Saturday night. Joel, as always, thanks so much.
Yeah.
Hey, head coach Paul Chryst said earlier this week that, yes, he thinks this Wisconsin team is better than the one that played Ohio State back in October. What do you see this team is doing differently since that loss?
I would agree with him. First of all, I think that they're a bit more balanced. I think last week was evidence of that. They don't have to have Jonathan Taylor go off for 200 yards in order to be really successful offensively. I think last week was a huge step in that direction. Jack threw the ball so well, and it wasn't necessarily just off a play action pass and everything along those lines. And then I thought that the defense undermanned in the secondary to do what they did. I thought that was big for them, in particular the plays they made. Don't look at the total number of yards or so on and so forth. The PBUs, the interception, those were big moments and plays for the confidence of the team. And so I think those are the things I look at specifically last week in what I would consider a divisional championship game, play-in game. They played great, and it was in a fashion that maybe we hadn't seen from them during the course of the season. So they're certainly more balanced now.
Yeah, confidence there in that game, and also the 4 wins in November to get here. What are some of the things you think they're going to have to do in order to beat Ohio State for the first time since 2010?
Yeah, listen, Ohio State's a really good team. I mean, I think they're the best team in America. That doesn't mean that they're not beatable, So I think that Wisconsin's going to have to play a game that's a little bit out of their comfort zone in order to beat Ohio State. Similar maybe to what it was last week. I think that they've got to throw the ball on first down to open things up. I think that the jet sweep game and the reverse game has to be big again with Kendrick Pryor and those type of guys. That's a big thing for me. If defensively you're looking at how to stop Ohio State, you got to commit every resource to stopping J.K. Dobbins. And if Justin Fields beats you with his arm, great. You tip your cap and you say good luck, in the playoff. But that's the way I would do it. I think that they have that capability. This team, regardless of the score of the Penn State-Ohio State game, Wisconsin played Ohio State better than anybody has. Ohio State played so poorly against Penn State, turned it over 3 times. That's why it was a closer game. But for 2.5 quarters, Wisconsin hung with Ohio State. They did a great job defensively. And so they should take a lot of confidence from that. And then from that point on, if they can shore up protection, make sure you block Chase Young, they throw the ball on first down, and they stop the run, I think that's the equation.
Last one. We haven't hit our Jonathan Taylor quota yet, so we'll just do it with one question this week. 68 yards, he gets to 6,000. 6 other guys have done it. He'd be the first to do it in 3 years. Will he be in New York next week?
I think, I think he should be, and I think he will be. If voters are watching college football, I think Jonathan Taylor would be on their ballot. That's what I personally think. He's an outstanding player, and what he's done over the last 3 seasons is completely unprecedented. Even if he doesn't get to 6,000, hopefully he does. Even if he doesn't, he's gotten more yards in a 3-year span than anybody in the history of the game. There are several categories that you can think about when voting for the Heisman Trophy. Part of that can be like, hey, this guy for a career has been one of the top 2 or 3 players in the country. that's the reason I'm going to include him on my ballot, and I hope he gets to New York, because he's the only thing better than his play is him as a person. Jonathan's an incredible kid.
Yeah, and you've had a chance to spend some time with him, which is great. Lots to go on, though. Before then, of course, the Big Ten Championship game right here Saturday night on Fox. Joel, thanks for your time. We're going to throw it back to Patrick and Brian.
We are honored to be joined by the Director of Athletics at Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez. We just heard from Joel Klatt in an interview how much confidence this Wisconsin team has compared to maybe in the middle of the season, and how well they've been playing over the last 4 weeks. Have you noticed that too with this team?
I think you have two stages this year. We started very crisp. If you watched our first game, the thing that impressed me, we were playing as if we were in midseason form. Not a lot of turnovers, no penalties, crisp, both sides of the ball, aggressive on defense, pressuring the offense. And then we had a little lull in there where all of a sudden we start turning the ball over for those 2 weeks, and that was very unlike us, particularly the way we started. Now the last 4 games, we're back in a groove, playing with a lot of confidence, both sides of the ball, and now more help from the kicking game the last few weeks.
Sure. So we're here in Indianapolis for the Big Ten Championship game. This is the 9th incarnation of it. When you were coaching, we didn't have a Big Ten Championship game. What do you think this has done for the conference to have this game?
Well, there are only 8 teams playing this week, I think. Now, maybe more. You've got conference championships.
Sure.
College football fans all over the country are focused on that handful or so of games. So we're one of the teams that everyone in the country is focused on. It features Wisconsin football. It's another way to sell our program, talk about who we are, and it always helps in recruiting, but it's great for our fans. Great for everyone in Wisconsin to be featured in college football.
And we've become just used to coming to Indianapolis, but what does it say about the sustained success of this program that we're here for the 6th time in 9 years?
First of all, I think you've heard me say this a lot. It's hard to win. It's really hard to win. No, everybody else
it's not. Evidently, it's not that hard.
Yeah, well, ask the other people that aren't here. Everybody has 85 scholarships, and all the coaches are smart, and they work just as hard as our guys. But we've found a very good formula. It all starts with getting our best players from in-state to stay home and come to Wisconsin. And we're a developmental program, and we don't cut any corners. We do it the right way. We're fundamentally sound in what we do. Because of the exposure we have, we're able to take people and pick people from around the country, spot people that fit our program. Quintez Cephas is a good, Danny Davis, another good example. JT, another good example. You get great players that see the brand of football and want to join it. That all ties together with playing in this game.
We've had Chris Orr on our podcast a couple times. He's another example of that. A kid from Texas who just belongs in Madison. Like, he's great. He's
Let me
awesome.
tell you something. He'd belong anywhere.
Well, that's true.
He'll
tell you that.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's not shy, and he does not lack for confidence. And I'm telling you, you don't have a great team without someone like that who can speak out and speak for the team that everyone respects. He comes from a football family. His dad's a coach. All his brothers have played. He understands the game. He knows what it's all about. He can pull it all together.
All those years coaching Ron, did you ever think you'd come across another running back that would produce at a level like Ron Dane produced, like we've seen now with Jonathan Taylor?
No. The answer is no. Ron was our offense. We throw it around pretty good right now, but back then with Mike Samuel, we throw the ball. We won one bowl game. We threw it 9 times, completed 1. And the receiver ran the wrong route. And we won the game going away. So this is a little different offense, but Ronnie was the offense. But to have someone like JT to put the numbers up and see who he has surpassed, the greatest runners in college football history, especially the 150th year, and how we're doing all this celebration of college football and the greats, and he surpassed them all. It's pretty special.
Take us into what the bowl picture looks like for Wisconsin. We'll know definitively by Sunday. And tomorrow's outcome may have something to do with where Wisconsin goes, but you've probably spent a lot of time in the last week thinking about this, talking to people, trying to figure out what our scenario might be.
Just had Commissioner Jim Delaney and I have just had another discussion about this early on, and and Klatt happened to listen in on us. But I feel strongly, and having been in that committee room, our season's over. Everyone's season is over. Now, there are a handful of teams that have the opportunity to play championship games. That championship game should not affect your ranking. You've established your ranking over a 12-game schedule. Tomorrow's results any place should not affect those. In other words,
Positively or negatively?
Negatively.
Negatively, okay.
Negatively. Now,
You
if
can
we win,
improve.
naturally,
Sure,
you can
sure.
improve because you just beat somebody in front of you.
Yeah.
But you should not. Someone at home should not be able to benefit from someone playing
was that the
in a
approach-
championship game.
Was that the approach that you took, the committee took when you were a part of that committee those first
That
3
was
years?
my belief.
Yeah, sure.
We all had individual votes. And I'll be honest with you, I can't remember saying that specifically, but I think there's been a little more of an outcry for that to make sure that happens.
Well, I read this week that no team that did not play in the championship game had ever surpassed the team that lost in their championship game to go to.
I think it happened one time, but it was a Colorado, someone else, and they had played once. It was really a strange.
They had met head-to-head during the
Yes.
season? Yeah, sure,
Yes,
that
it was
might
a
be-
different circumstance, but I think you're right. I don't think anyone's ever surpassed.
If they haven't met head-to-head.
Right,
So for
right.
Wisconsin, what's on the table for bowl
Well,
wise?
you didn't come to town on a load of wood. You can figure that out. Ohio State should be in the four,
Sure.
the championship series.
Regardless of,
Yeah, regardless of tomorrow, if they lose, we beat them tomorrow. They've accomplished enough. They're
Yeah.
going to be in the
They've
four.
earned it, sure.
They've earned that. The Rose Bowl has a pick, and they're basically they're going to take the highest ranked Big Ten team available. That's Wisconsin. We're 8th. Penn State's 10th. That's pretty simple to me.
I like it. I like
let's
it.
try to stay that highest
We
ranked
got, we
team.
got good history in Pasadena.
I mean that's the way it's written. Now, extenuating circumstances, they can make
Sure.
a decision and choose someone else. I don't know what the extenuating circumstances would be.
All right, tomorrow's game, rematch against an Ohio State team we played 6 weeks ago or so. What has to happen for Wisconsin to be able to win this game?
Well, I think first of all, I don't know. You cannot allow them to overload anything. I mean, they're good enough, talented, and talented enough. They're hard enough to beat just playing straight up. But if you can allow them to overplay the run to stop JT, or be put in passing situation, know you're in a passing situation where they can pin their ears back and come, then I think we're in trouble. So I asked Jimmy Leonhard. I've never had to play somebody a second time. And so I went in, in the NFL, you do it all the time.
Sure. Yeah.
So I asked Jimmy about it, and a lot of it has to do with matchups. You can watch film and think your guys match up or don't match up. But you've played now, and you have a better idea. You can see a little more of why your opponent may be doing things and how they do them, and give you a little more rhythm. But you know where you stack up matchup-wise, and that's why the NFL is a matchup league. So it gives you a chance to really evaluate and scrutinize where you want to attack and how you want to attack.
You brought up Jim Leonhard. Did you see him get in the Indy car for the drive from the
I
airport
did.
to the host for the
You know what?
stadium?
I did, and you know what was funny
You
about
turned down the chance to do that, I assume.
I
right?
couldn't get in that car. Chris McIntosh says about 3/4 the way here. I bet Jimmy's second guessing his decision to get in the car because it's pretty cold with that the top down.
Well, thanks for joining us. We actually ran into Jim Leonhard at practice today. Our Brandon Spiegel caught up with him to ask him about that ride in the Indy car.
Here with Coach Leonhard inside Lucas Oil Stadium, and Coach, you got a ride from the airport to the stadium here in an Indy car. What was that like?
It was a great experience. I mean, it's exciting. I can only imagine going fast in that thing and being really close, too close to other cars. But awesome experience, and the driver's having fun with it a little bit. So definitely something I'll remember.
Tell them to get into it a little bit, kind of see how fast you go.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there's too many cops in the way to really get it going. But it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's an amazing experience.
You want to get one, drive it around Madison?
I want one now. Yeah, I'm hooked right now. I want to go get back in that thing.
Yeah, quick football question for you. Now that we're here inside Lucas Oil getting ready for that first practice, it kind of hit you guys more? What do you tell your guys now that you're here and in the Big Ten Championship?
This is a great experience for them. It's one they've earned. There's only 2 teams in the Big Ten playing this week, and we've earned the right to be here. So just ask them to be in the moment and let it go. Just go play ball, man. And they're excited. A lot of these guys have been in here. They've been in this game before, and we want different results this time. So it's time to go get a win.
Cool. Thanks, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
All right, so now all that's left to do is play a game, and we're about 24 hours away now, but it's a big 24 hours for Badger fans.
Yeah, for those who are here in Indy, there's a ton of stuff to do before the game is even played. You can come by the team hotel and see nobody here. Apparently, we're all
There are people here. Trust us, there are people here.
But there's a fan fest that the Big Ten puts together that's free, that has all sorts of interactive displays and games and ability to watch the other college football games going on tonight and tomorrow. Fall Out Boy is playing a free concert tonight downtown Indianapolis. I know you're a huge Fall Out Boy fan.
Sure, yeah.
What else? We've got a pep rally. Wisconsin's got a pep rally.
You'll be there.
I will be. I'll be emceeing that one. 4 o'clock Eastern. If you are in Indianapolis, it's in the Indianapolis Convention Center, Exhibit Hall F. And we'll have a live band performing. The EW Marching Band will come by, the Spirit Squad. They'll have beer on sale, and they'll have the basketball game.
That's what I was
The
going to say.
Badgers take on Indiana at 3:30 Central, 4:30. It's a huge weekend for Wisconsin sports in general. Our volleyball team kicks off their national championship march here in a little bit at the field house. Basketball plays tomorrow. And of course, football game.
Then it's go time.
7 o'clock on Fox, 7 o'clock Central on Fox. Brian Mason, Patrick Herb from Behind the Badgers. Check out our podcast. You can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts, Apple, Google, Spotify, all of those locations. It's on there. Give us a chance. Hope you like it.
You don't even have to look at us.
Enjoy the game tomorrow. Go Badgers.
Unless we get fired.